Hello and welcome to a cooking video in my vegetarian actually series. It's been a minute, but I am doing a meal prep for lunch for an entire week, for at least for an entire work week. And I'm showing you my favorite way to cook rice. I use ingredients that are readily available on me most times. And yeah, this just gets straight into it. I'll start by showing you my ingredients. Okay, so I will be using like various types of protein during the week just so I don't get bored, but like the rice I'll be cooking will be the base. So I will show you how I cook my soy pieces to complement or accompany the rice that I'll be making. And I will literally list everything in the description box, but I do have some dark leafy greens and I have some basmati rice that I will wash. So I literally am just using like pantry staples. So I have some tomato paste here. I have some Royco for Southern Africans and East Africans, I guess. I have some Pilau Masala spice. If you don't have a Pilau Masala, you can literally use just any like spice for rice. I have some chicken masala, just some regular cooking oil, some salt. Then I have this mixed herb spice from Heinz. So these are the ingredients. Yeah, it's like a mix. Then I have some paprika, some peri peri spice, some curry, some carrots, just like one green pepper, one green bell pepper, one large. Honestly, I only have large yellow onions, white onions, but I will probably use half of that to go with the green veggies. I have one large red onion. I have 4 tomatoes, and a very old lemon that I hope is still okay. And yeah, I will. This is what I have gathered for this week's lunch meal prep. So I will chop. I will chop these. I'll chop the tomatoes, the green pepper, the onions and the carrots, as well as the dark leafy greens. Oh, I forgot. I have this. I have a. I have one garlic clove. Ideally, I would need like 4, but yeah, I only had 1 left. But I would have used 4, like 2 for the rice and 2 for the soy pieces that I will cook.
Alrighty, so this will be a cook with me video, super long, super detailed. If you're interested in trying out this recipe, I really hope you do, and I hope you enjoy this video, but it won't be like overly edited or anything. Not that I even know how to edit that well, but yeah, I heated up one large saucepan and one large pan and added some vegetable oil. So I just used just regular oil, and I added, I think this can be categorized as a generous amount, yeah, to both. And I let that heat up, though, because I had turned on like the plates beforehand, like the pan and the pot were already quite hot, so it began to sizzle almost immediately. So I added some garlic. I only had 1 clove. Ideally, I would have used like 2 cloves per dish, so I just used what I had on me, and yeah, just split it in half between the two. So I added some garlic, let that fry, and then I have my red onion, and I just used half for each. So this is me honestly just winging it, cooking it at home. Like, it's not like super scientific where everything is down to like grams or whatnot. Like, whatever makes you happy, you can add as much or as little as you would prefer. So yeah, I just cut up 1 large red onion and split that in half for both dishes. As for the carrots, like even this, like I just winged it. So this was probably maybe 3 carrots or so, like 3 medium-sized carrots that I split in half for both. And chopping everything beforehand makes the actual cooking process a lot easier and less stressful as opposed to you chopping as you cook. So you can definitely use that tip. Just have everything that needs to be chopped prepped beforehand. And yeah, I just let that fry a bit or cook. And I covered it. So this is probably like a minute or two later. Just stirred it up a bit to make sure it wasn't, burning in one place. So I chopped up 4 like regular sized tomatoes. So I added half to the saucepan or the pot where the rice was going to go, but not to the pan for the soy pieces just yet. So you can note like the way in which I layer the ingredients as I'm going along. And I was adding oil as I was cooking. If you're someone who's like quite like who's trying to be cautious with oil, I don't know, girl, maybe this one isn't for you. But yeah, I was just adding like like little increments of oil every now and then. So for the frying pan now, or the large pan, I now added 2 packs. So I did 2 packs of soy pieces. I didn't add the flavoring that comes with them because I don't really like it. I'd rather just use my own seasoning. So yeah, I added 2 packs. I was making a big batch and just kind of tossed everything to make sure that the garlic, onion, and carrots were kind of incorporated. So for the soy pieces, I added some chicken masala spice. You can use whatever chicken spice that you have on you. So instead of using the seasoning that comes in the soy pieces, I just used my own. And again, I winged it with a generous amount of the chicken masala, which was about 2 teaspoons. And then I added 1 teaspoon of paprika. And then for the peri peri powder, I just did half a teaspoon because I didn't want it to be too spicy. And if you're someone who's kind of adverse to spice, you can completely skip the peri peri powder and just, end with paprika. So I toss that around, let it fry. So keep an eye on the soy pieces. Sometimes I get absent-minded and it gets charred a little bit, as was the case in this situation. So definitely keep an eye on the soy pieces. Keep kind of, stirring them around to make sure that they aren't burning at the bottom. And yeah, this is how it was going. I added a bit more oil. So the soy pieces do soak up quite a lot of oil, so that's why I tend to be generous with that. Then checked on the base for the rice and just stirred it a bit as well to make sure it wasn't burning. And to the 1 or 2 people that watched me unbox these pots or this a pot and pan set, they're really, really nice. I actually like them. Like, they were definitely worth it. So yeah, for the rice, the first thing I went in with was a teaspoon of paprika. So I did use, I think, about 2 cups of rice. Yeah. And then I went in with a generous amount of tomato paste. So that's probably about 2 tablespoons. Again, you can use as much or as little as you want. Then I stirred that. Then checked on my soy pieces. And I do fry them this way to help the powders and spices incorporate into the pieces first before I add kind of like wet ingredients, if that makes sense. So I added some more oil to the middle of the pan, and then I added the other half of the tomatoes that I had chopped up. So this is the point at which I add the tomatoes. Then I let that cook for a bit. Checked on the other pot to see how it was going. And just stirred that around a bit. So it was now time to add my rice. So this was washed off camera. Then I now added my Pilau Masala. So like I had mentioned before, if you don't have the Pilau Masala on you can just use a spice for rice. And I added one like heaped teaspoon, and I also added a spoon of curry powder. Again, this is like a personal preference. You can skip this if you don't want to use curry powder. And then I kind of I try to incorporate everything and fry it so that the spices as well as the base that had been cooking prior can be incorporated into the rice. Then checked on the soy pieces, and this is when I now added the tomato paste. So even on this end, I just used like honestly a generous amount, about 2 tablespoons. And then fried everything all together with the tomatoes as well. So I added about half a cup. Just so that it wouldn't burn at the bottom. And then I added a full cup of hot water. By this, this is hot water. Also, even with this one, I think I added half a cup and then realized that I hadn't added salt. So I do season the rice with salt, but I don't season the soy pieces with any salt, because I realized that the way these soy pieces are made or processed, they already have salt in them. So whenever I add salt to these soy pieces, they end up being too salty. So yeah, back to the rice. I added 2 full cups of hot water. And so it's like 2 cups of water to 2 cups of rice, or just enough where it's right above the rice, but it shouldn't be like too watery, because then it will get soggy. On 3. So I got some Royco powder and mixed it with 1 cup of hot water. And added that to the soy pieces. Just water. So it may not look that great, but trust me. Okay, at least if you're vegetarian or you're new to vegetarianism, like trust me, it would taste nice. Bring it down to 4. We're down to 3, and I'll leave it for 10 minutes. So I squeezed my 2 lemons in. In hindsight, I should have gotten rid of the seeds first, but I will. I do eventually like kind of spoon them out afterwards. So the rice was done after 10 minutes, literally. And I just I gently kind of tossed the carrots and other veggies around just so that it was evenly spread out. So I leave the rice, I've turned off the rice, but then I'll leave it covered for another 10 minutes, and then I'll leave this at the same medium heat for another 10 minutes, just to let it really simmer down properly before I switch it off, and then I'll remove both from the plates, the stove plates that they were on. So half an onion, and this much of a bell pepper. So it was time for me to now cook my green veggies. That's how much oil I added, not too much, with half of that onion. So I tried to cut off as much of the stems as possible. And those are the veggies chopped. So I've poured hot water, just directly from my kitchen tap. I'll let that sit for like 5 minutes. By the way, I have removed the pot because I didn't want it to burn. So let this soften for 5 minutes. I then went and strained it. So I added the strained veggies to the pot. And my little chopped green pepper. So I added just a bit more oil because I didn't want it to be too watery. For just about a minute. So I added some mixed herb spice. This is super optional and I just winged it. You can skip this if you're not a fan. And then I salted it. I then just kind of tossed the vegetables. It's like tossing / frying them. Yeah. And this didn't take long at all, like probably under 5 minutes until it was done. So my dark leafy greens are still green. That's why I prefer to done this way. As opposed to like parboiling them first, it kind of gives that color. So now turn it off.
Alrighty, so I am done now, and these are, oops, my greens, one of my proteins, and this soy pieces actually like a really good like last time. So I will freeze half and use the other half because like you guys, this is actually like a lot of work to do and I'm a lazy person. So I did purposely cook a big batch. I'll use half of this for my rice and then the other half can be used for like sandwiches and wraps, and I will freeze half of it to like use even like later on so that it lasts longer. But soy honestly can go a full week just refrigerated. For vegetables, I like to keep them for only 3 days, to be honest, just 3 days, and then I cook fresh ones. And then the rice can last a good 5 days. And yeah, I will let this sit overnight. I actually think the the soy pieces and the rice taste better like once they've like sat overnight. So I will like pack this for my lunch during the week. And I also have some cooked beans that I will use as protein as well as eggs later on, but that will be in later clips. But yeah, total cook time including prep, like everything start to finish, was just under 2 hours. So it's like it's 21:51 right now, and I started at 20:05. So this is like 8:05 p.m. to 9:51 p.m. So just under 2 hours. It still feels like a lot of work for me, but yeah, a 2 hour meal prep for an entire week is, yeah, it's pretty cool. So I will come on later where I plate my food and show you my other protein options aside from the soy. Oh, and this, like, I'm just letting this cool for like another hour or so. Like, then just before I go to bed, like maybe like around 11 p.m. or midnight, who knows, I will move this to like either Tupperware or just like a serving um dish of sorts to actually put in the fridge. Because if I leave it here overnight, it might go bad. Like I live in a climate where you can't leave things just like willy-nilly out on your counters. Like it'll spoil quicker. So I'm just letting this cool and then I'll refrigerate it.
So the beans has some curry in it. So I'm not adding any ketchup to this. Sorry, I'm not adding any tomato sauce.